So what drew you to the world of art?
What drew me to the world of art? I think I've always been a really creative child, so I've enjoyed that. But I think specifically acting, what drew me to acting would be, I'm very introverted and I'm very shy, and I think that kind of allowed me to jump into a different persona and be somebody else, so that I can step out of my shyness and be something else, so I don't have to think about it too much. So yeah, I think that's what I enjoyed the most.
And what excites you about the industry?
I think I'll speak more to the South African industry. I really love that we are exploring more genres, we're exploring our creativity and the way we tell stories, which is fun because we know the templates, we know the drama. Drama's our thing, so it's nice to see people explore sci-fi, to explore comedy that isn't necessarily slapstick, so things like that.
Are there any insecurities that you're holding back?
I think it's an insecurity that almost every artist has, is I think vulnerability and allowing people to see parts of you, because when you create art, you can't divorce it from yourself. And so inevitably, if you share your art, you're sharing parts of yourself. And I think that kind of scares us as artists, because then we feel judged rather. We feel seen, we feel naked. So yeah, I think that's the most difficult thing.
Where would you like to see art in South Africa going?
Where would I like to see the art scene going? I don't want this to be taken out of context, but I really want us to take ourselves more seriously as a South African industry. I think when we create art, we're still thinking local. We're thinking, hey, what's gonna appease the local audience? Or you hear channels usually say, no, our audiences don't watch those kinds of things, or they're not thinking that far ahead. And I want us to stop restricting ourselves. I want us to believe that we can also compete in the global market, because we can. We have the stories to do it, we have the creativity to do it, and I think we just need to act it and be it so that we can do that. And I think once we start taking ourselves more seriously, then the world can do the same. Yeah.
So what do you, Sipesihle Ndaba, bring to the table?
What do I bring to the table? Something that's very South African, which is diversity. I come from a very diverse background. I'm a Zulu girl that was raised by a Swati mom and a Betty grandmother who had a Venda best friend growing up. So I think my exposure to different cultures, languages, influences my work as well. And I think that's something cool, because it just adds nuance to the work and dimension, so it's not as flat, if that makes sense.
What makes you laugh?
Melissa McCarthy.
And what is your biggest hurt?
What is my biggest hurt? Is going home and opening the fridge and thinking there's food in a scuffed. No, actually no. Oh yes, coming back from school and knowing that I had a scuffed in the fridge, and then coming back and my brother ate it. That hurts.
Okay, last one. Who would play you in a movie?
Nicole Bahari. I mean, she's a little bit aged, so she'll probably play older me, but Nicole. So if you could change anything in the industry right now, what would it be?
I think I would change our ability to take critique. I think naturally as artists, we're very sensitive, but I think because South Africa is such a young industry, we don't really do too well with criticism because we personalize it. And I think that there's no growth that can occur without critique. And so if we constantly tiptoeing around each other and not like being honest about the work and about the art, then we're not going to grow. But I will say that it's important how the critique comes across. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. Essentially, critique.
Thinking of yourself about 10 years ago, what are some of the challenges that you have overcome?
Being seen. I know it's ironic considering the career path I'm in, which is like the whole premise of what I do is being seen, but it's still something that I'm hyper aware of. I'm super conscious of like just being seen. It just makes me feel so vulnerable. So, yeah.
Has there been a career-defining challenge that you've overcome?
Ooh. I think the first one, I mean, I've faced a couple, but the first one that comes to mind has to be when I had to play a paraplegic or somebody that has paraplegia, because I thought to myself, I have to fully take myself into somebody else's lived experience, and I don't want to ever make somebody else feel disrespected when I am portraying them or portraying a part of their lives. And so that was so challenging to me because I didn't want to mess it up. How I went about it is that I went out and I interviewed people with that lived experience so that I can portray it as authentically as I possibly can. And I think that's the best thing I could have done. Yeah.
What are some of the misconceptions that people have about the film industry?
Oh, there are many. That actors just regurgitate words from a piece of paper, that anybody can act, that the industry, the film industry is easy because all you guys do is like pretend all day, that people don't know that it's actually 12-hour days. Sometimes you have overtime, so sometimes you're actually shooting 14 to 15 hours a day, and then you have to go home and still prep for the next day. So it's actually quite a lot. It's just taxing, and it also like takes away from your social life because you're at work for 12 hours a day every day. So it's nothing easy about it.
Looking at where Sipesihle comes from and where she is now, where do you envision her to be in the future?
Oh, easy. Bigger and better. And that's that on that.
At the end of a long day, what brings you peace?
It's knowing that I did the best that I could with the day. Is knowing that I only tell stories that are true to my heart and that resonate with me, that I only tell stories that are meaningful and impactful and that are there to educate and hold up a mirror to society. And I never do anything that I never want to do. And so I feel content and I feel fulfilled.